AM Best revised its outlook on Canada life insurers to stable. I'm John Weber for AM Best TV. Here to discuss that is senior financial analyst Anthony McSwieney. And Anthony, what drove that outlook decision?
Well, John, what drove the outlook decision, I think you could put into two categories. First was you have to look at 2020 as almost a tale of two halves. We went into COVID in the first half of 2000. We had the financial market impairments. We had a lot of uncertainty around what was going to happen in the first half. Economic activity in general in Canada and globally for that matter started to improve in the third and fourth quarter. So at the time we were looking at revising our outlook, it was about this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier. So we were through our second quarter and there are a lot of unknowns, there are a lot of risks. What has happened since then is the economic impact was not as long. The depth and breadth of it was much shorter than we had thought. And that's not only for Canada, for the U.S., and for the generally speaking, one would probably say the global market. So when we got the financial data for the industry at 2020, while the headwinds that we thought that were going to occur in the operating performance side, they did occur. The depth of it was not anywhere near as severe as we thought. We were concerned last year about the balance sheet impact of the potential volatile markets on things like capital, impairments, fallen angels on the balance sheet. While those things did occur, they were more muted than the impact on the P&L. So it was really time in the realization of the impacts of the market. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to that federal intervention or governmental intervention, bank intervention, which helps sustain the economies. But I would summarize it that way.
Looking back over the last 5 years, what would you point to as the most notable industry shifts?
Well, that's a good question. Following the industry for the past 10 years, I would categorize the Canadian marketplace as, particularly when you look at notable shifts, is one of a fundamental de-risking of the balance sheet supported by strong ERM practices that have developed beyond the 5 years. It's been developing over the past 10 years. So while we've been talking about that incrementally, I would say probably more so over the past 5 years, what they've done is they've been able to diversify the risks both on the balance sheet and the P&L, which has helped them very much in this environment that we went through over the past year, in line with the strong regulatory background. Now, a strong regulatory background has always been there. That's not new. I would have to say the internal inertia of the Canadian insurers to really focus on ERM.
IFRS 17 is nearing its 2023 start. Anthony, how prepared is the industry?
Yeah, so we've been talking to insurers about IFRS 17 in the Canadian market for, I would say, maybe the past 3 years. If you go back beyond that, maybe one could argue it was 4 years. I would answer that in the headline view would be as prepared as they could possibly be. As we approach 2023, as the viewers may know, or not know, we have a designated group that follows IFRS 17, not only in Canada, but in the UK as well. And, there are a few things out there that need to be determined and that need to be figured out between the regulators and the banks. But I will say the insurers have put an enormous amount of money into structurally shifting to the new accounting standards as a result of IFRS 17. So that's been in place. Also, when you look at Canada in particular, the Canadian insurers really work well hand in hand with the regulators and help determining what impact IFRS 17 could have on LICAT. So as we stand right now, there are a few things that need to be figured out with regard to IFRS 17, but with the background of OSFI working really well with the Canadian insurers, I can't see them in any better position than they could be right now.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, John.
That was senior financial analyst Anthony McSwieney. You can find the full report online at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.